Guten Tag und Hoyo Toho. A very good afternoon to you. I hope you are all healthy. Very fitting to today's theme of the dangers of online working is that I'm having severe internet problems at home. That's why last week's live stream was really of very bad quality. I apologize, so I have decided to make one take, pre-record it and post it. So please leave messages, critique and questions afterwards and I'll get back to you. Es tut mir leid, dass ich heute nicht live posten darf, aber bitte alle Kommentare werden beantwortet. Because the whole thing about the internet thing, I use it myself, but it cannot replace direct communication. If you think about a hug or a kiss or a slap, you can think about them, but you have to experience them firsthand to really know what's happening. Als Beispiel eine Umarmung, einen Kuss oder eine Ohrfeige, darüber kann man nicht in der Theorie reden, muss man spüren. I do not have anything against online work. It's something that we are blessed to have, as long as we are all aware that it is one of many tools. And at the moment, I want to talk about this today because we're all having to use online facilities too often. In the same direction would be for me listening to recordings, Aufnahmen anhören. Of course, we have to hear how the great people have conducted and sung fabulous pieces of music to make sure we are prepared to really get the best out of ourselves and be true to the music, because honesty is the first currency in our job. Nochmal auf Deutsch, die Ehrlichkeit ist die beste Währung in unserem Job. Deshalb gut, die Aufnahmen anzuhören, aber nie vergessen, dass das ein Teil vom Ganzen ist. The whole thing about recordings, if you have made a recording, you will know this firsthand, is in a live performance, something happens. We do not even need to call it magic because it is something one can feel every time. You do not have to pretend. In the direct communication between an audience and the people performing for them. The same thing if you have lessons or training sessions. Sure, your online teacher can look you straight in the eyes and one can say, try that again, and also I make exercises for you and I suggest you put the recording on pause, you do the 50 repeats, and then we continue, but you do not have any direct control of a live human being. Man hat nicht die direkte Kontrolle von einem anderen Menschen. If I may use one very coarse example to make my point clear, if you somehow have a bad deodorant, we are not going to notice this during an online lesson. Beim Deo-Versagen wird man das nicht merken online. And music is an all-encompassing art. It is not just dancing that uses the whole body. If you as a singer haven't realized that your whole body is going to work with you or be your enemy, I suggest taking a gentle step back and doing some gentle warm-up exercises. I am still not giving up on the whole world should enjoy a proper legato, and seeing that the exercises we want to do, I offer them, you try them, you can see for yourself whether you like them or not, is to develop breathing. Now, breathing, whether it is for talking, to enjoy the smell of something cooking in the kitchen, the fresh flowers of spring, always needs to have a reason if you are going to use it for singing. So in your training, I have many crazy pictures to use, but for me, the most obvious one is, let's get back to chocolate. Imagine a slab of chocolate is lying in the sun. This slab of chocolate is a phrase. Eine ganze Tafel Schokolade liegt in der Sonne und wird schmelzen. Das ist eine Phrase. So, we are going to take a breath, and you have to decide with the breath, is this chocolate melting quickly? Is he melting slowly? Is the weather changing? Or you can change in the middle of the breath to make sure you use the whole of the body. You can like, oh, there's a cold spell, and suddenly ice comes, and the breath will be different. So I do not believe for singers in breathing exercises without actually using the voice, because it's nice to let it all work. So let us do something together to try if you're good with this. This is to help you let the breath flow all the time, making sure there is direction, never forgetting to tank. As long as we are alive, with every next breath, we can have new experiences, get ourselves out of troubles, or create new problems. So, imagine you are standing against the wall. If I stand against the wall, you will not see me. You make sure that your behind is flush against the wall, flattening as much of your back as you possibly can into the wall, and feel the shoulders without scrunching anything, and then make sure that your heels are on the wall. Now, as you press against the wall, you breathe, trying to breathe with the whole body, from the heels up to the top of your hair. And let's say, and to keep the breath going, feel your heels, feel their knees, push into the wall with your behind, every single bit of your spine, crack into the wall, into the wall. Work the shoulders, the neck, keeping the shoulders down. And to train the whole apparatus, make sure everything relaxes again. Get rid of surplus air. This is even easier if you lie flat on your back. If you lie flat on your back, the gravity will also help you in the training, so that your whole body has to work against the gravity, so that you don't just breathe too shallowly or forget to use the lower bits of the body. So we do the same thing. I'm still for warming up consonants first, and if you try to make sure your jaw is relaxed, let's go. You are imagining you are lying flat on the floor, costs nothing. You take the breath, and as the goes, let it ripple from your heels through the knees, the hips, and if you still have breath, let it go straight down until you get back to your heels and relax. To develop your breathing, do observe live if you can, or on YouTube videos if you have no other resources, how animals breathe, as they have not been trained to do something with a certain method, or because of our teacher thinks. Every human being is different, but they are fabulous teachers who respect us. But you, if you're a student, it is important that you get to know the options of what your body can do. So obviously, maybe you can try to imitate a purring cat. Eine schnurrende Katze nachahmen. But cats tend to purr somewhere down in the body. So even using the cat thing, until you get to the purring one. And if another animal, very good, if you're interested in developing the breath and the voice connection, sea lions. The really good ones. Any vowels that get stuck and you don't know what to do with them, watch sea lions, listen to them, try to find the pictures at which they sing. Bitte Seelöwen observieren. Diese tonnengroßen Tiere, die jedes Gramm atmet und spricht und bewegt sich geschmeidig. So, another exercise, if you want to develop the breathing, always doing the exercise as long as you can go. The brain, for most average people, can go without oxygen for 3 minutes before you have brain damage. Der Mensch kann ohne Sauerstoff für wenigstens 3 Minuten auskommen, bevor man Gehirnschäden hat. So, to make sure that you are energizing anything, because mostly we're going to be singing standing up, if you put a thumb in the middle of your sternum, there's a little hole there. Ha ha. Feel it, it's the center, and then put your other hand on the lower back. Of course, making sure that when you're standing up, your heels are under your hips, under the hips, and breathe from the floor again. And let's have our favorite vowel today, because it is Thursday, is ah, as in ya, yes. You breathe ya, and if you are good, get the vowel in there. Ya, feel it travel down the body, ya, until you get the lower hand, ya, and let it circle back up to the ya, down again into the hand, up into that. And we have at least 5 Italian consonants that we work on. Seeing that we all want to sing German at some stage, I think it's always important to use our fabulous umlaut vowels. Nasty, nasty one that can often get too nasal. So just to make sure that you all enjoy this exercise, if you keep on going, you will feel it. So we try for the German vowel. These are all exercises at the same time to warm up your voice. So maybe it isn't a pretty sound, but as long as nothing is hurting and the muscles are working freely, good for you, because you're training all the muscles. Yeah, or one of those notes you like. There's the find that one, the sternum, find the lower back, yeah, and we make a little circle, yeah, all the way down into the seating area, rotating it back up to the sternum, yeah, and the air is still going down and up. And if you are a sportlicher person, if you are an athletic person, we do the same thing, bouncing while we do this. Just gentle bouncing until you can feel that the voice is sitting. Obviously, you don't do any bouncing exercises with bad knees. Yeah, another nice German vowel is the O with the umlaut, like I always say in common German, nö, ne, nö, nö, bounce, 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 just gently to make sure that the voice is hooked in and the breath keeps on flowing without making machine gun noises. And if you want to do exercises that are more with tones, people say, ooh, they are so dry, and that's just sport, the exercises you suggest. So today I thought I'll give you a nice classical exercise for warming up the voice and at the same time developing your breath control. So we all like singing scales to warm up the breath. As I said before, please take a motivated breath, not just a breath for oxygen. So even in your warm-up exercises, let's say for this one, we take a breath to keep it very physical, as if we are going to dive into a swimming pool and swim 50 meters underwater before we can breathe again. 50 meters is that should be okay for all ranges. And you do slowly, you pick your favorite vowel. Mean one is the German Ü, which you need for French as well. Ü, and we go bounce, 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 until you think no more air is left. First stretching the voice up on the vowel and then bouncing it only in a tempo where it will bounce cleanly, cleanly, and at the end of the breath a stabilizing portamento down. Just do a couple more to see that you remember this exercise. This might be for you. So we take a breath this time as if we have to take a breath and only breathe again after we've run through a room filled with poisonous gas. Wir atmen, als ob wir durch ein Zimmer rennen müssen mit Giftgas drin. So big breath and control. And we do yeah, I like yeah for the gas. Gas, gas, gas. Yeah. Bounce, 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 bounce. You can do some more. Bounce, bounce. Oh, and with the loss of your breath, the portamento down. Relaxing. And so that this doesn't become all dry and bureaucratic, I thought today we talk generally. Style is very important, and whatever you're learning, for example today I have a spot of Tosca, Puccini. I'm sure everybody knows this tune, and even if you're a mezzo, tenor or a bass, this tune and the text everybody will know. How do we learn the music? The most old-fashioned way I know, so that you will learn it thoroughly and it will stay with you until the day you choose not to sing anymore, is to consult the score and learn what is written, starting with the language and the rhythm. The language and the rhythm cannot be separated. So let us, all of us, make sure we have the language, and the rhythm is visidarte, visidamore. We are all learning this tune because I want to show you how you can use your normal repertoire for extending your breaths. So let's say we have memorized this visidarte, visidamore. take the same phrase and repeat it endlessly. Every next repetition slower. And here is the important thing. Please, while working on your voice, only breathe where you actually need oxygen. Nur da atmen, wo du gerade Sauerstoff brauchst. If you want to expand your lung capacity, you have to, like any athlete, go for the extremes. So to do this as an example, or it's boring to just repeat the same thing, I prefer these exercises with the repertoire you have to learn in any case, as slowly as you can do it. So we take a breath, and for this, let's also make sure you breathe the consonant you are going to start on. Ah. To make sure you remember consonant warm-ups. If you have a W, to make sure we have warmed up the W for today. I have the standard suggestion of working on your face, upright or bending down to stretch the back. For 30 seconds, and then over, above the cheekbones. For 30 seconds, and then under the cheekbones, especially with the your hands will help you to keep the jaw free, make sure the air flows, lifting the double chin, a good W should always have tone in it. If you feel the air leaking, check what your mouth is doing, not the mirror, feel it, you can feel it. If the mouth is stuck, relax it, horse time. Wenn zu viel Luft drin hat, bitte die Lippen entspannen. Jedes so singen können, otherwise you'll be losing some of the air you want to invest into your legato in the sound, and your lips will sound funny. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We were on the double chin. 30 seconds of that, and there. So now on to the actual exercise as an example of how we are going to expand our lung capacity. We all now know the first phrase, visci d'arte, visci d'amore. And as an exercise, we do not breathe except for oxygen. So you have the note, and what do you breathe? Let's say we breathe terror, because the woman is very afraid. And you sing as slow as you can. Visci d'arte. Don't breathe. Visci d'amore. There I needed the breath before the d'amore. And Puccini is a very good composer to help you to breathe the music before. From back to the theme of why is it so dangerous to just work online. You take breaths with fold back. Even if you're working with a pianist, I do it myself, there is no direct contact with the music. For example, in this Visci d'arte aria, as in lots of Puccini, the orchestra gives a tune which the singer will then breathe and join naturally, comme ça. Breathe sempre, breathe into one facing chair, breathing into the music. commenting them, you are joining them. This is very important sidebar for singing good Puccini, to know when you join the orchestra, when you are murmuring against them, murmuring under them, when you are working against them. It's like finding the right gear to sing in. Beim Puccini singen ist dieser Gangwechsel von wie atme ich jetzt die Musik? Atme ich horizontal rein, schließe ich mich bloß der Musik an, attackiere ich die Musik? Dieser Gangwechsel in Atme ist sehr wichtig für den Stil. To get the style right, it is important that you feel the music in every vein. For you to really sing something like this or any music, you must be aware, obviously, back to how do we study, what is the orchestra or the piano going to do while I am singing. Because in an ideal world, live music, we are all working in the same direction. Sometimes in live music, there's a little discrepancies, like when you go to the circus and you think the lion is going to eat the lion tamer tonight, and then you get together. And very good training of the body, the mind, the brain, and everything will leave you capable of getting back on the horse if you should fall off the music. So repeat, repeat, repeat is the main thing. Now, so that I am a little Wagner addict, no Wagnerianerin, to show you that exactly the same thing happens in something like Tosca, will happen in Wagner, for example, when you sing Elsa. Now, Elsa is a marvelous soprano role. There's nothing wrong if you're a female singer in singing this aria or some of the music very young, as long as you are realistic about your voice, vocal capacities. Only train this what you can use now. You even a bass, you could sing this bits of this aria to really for the training of the voice. So to develop our consonants and the breath control, I suggest we do the exercise on einsam in trüben Tagen hab ich zu Gott gefleht. It's going to be very slow, so we learn it together is einsam in trüben Tagen hab ich zu Gott, 2, 3 gefleht. I chose specifically these two little phrases of a soprano aria to share one of the many tricks of the trade of proper breathing for singers. Now, once you have learned to breathe for oxygen, the German language is very kind. If you really sing into all the consonants, it will give you so many more possibilities to tank breath, to take another big breath everywhere where there's a glottis or hard consonants. If you're a good musician, as long as the line, the color of the line before the breath and afterwards is smooth, nobody in the first row will notice that you have taken a breath. So, comes out in that tune. Say you are running across stage and you have, as we say in German, a frog in your throat, ein Frosch im Hals. And on stage you cannot do this with the water. You must use little extra breaths or bite your tongue to get the spit to flow, to get the voice flowing. So in this instance, let's say you're having a dry day, I'm sharing with you secret breaths that nobody in the first row will hear. In all the glottis in that phrase, it would be possible to take a little schnapped breath. Einsam langsam, little tiny snap breath, nobody will hear. In trüben Tagen. If you have too much air, obviously, you're going to sing straight through the rest and make the rest with the consonant of the H. Hop. If you have a frog in your throat, there's a little glottis that you're going to do for ich, so you can snap a breath after hop. Ich zu Gott. And because there's a T at the end of Gott, if you don't spit it viciously and join it to the next word, it's possible to take a breath after Gott. Gefleht. And the reason this will work is there is an orchestra playing under it. So to consolidate all the extra breaths as examples of how German consonants are helpful for taking breaths, we would say, all of us tenors, basses, mezzos, and the normal sopranos, einsam in trüben Tagen hab ich zu Gott gefleht. And that gefleht, I begged to God. There is a very great word to warm up your L consonants on. Say, instead of doing normal scales, you take this one word, gefleht, gefleht, making sure the L sings, gefleht, gefleht, gefleht. And then if you want to make sensible exercises, but even the breath before will be a begging breath. Auch Atem vor dieser Übung anflehen. And even for advanced people, we correct the word accent is on the second syllable. Gefleht, 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 gefleht. All the consonants and vowels in the same direction. I hope this was very helpful, and I would love to hear your feedback on the theme of online working. Please, we all want to stay in touch. We want to stay healthy. At the moment, in many instances, it isn't possible to speak or work with people firsthand, but please make sure that you don't turn into a karaoke singer. You know, the singers that can only, you switch on a click track and you work on that. Because if you want to be a classical musician, as I suppose people call us, it's not a bad word, I'm proud of it, you will need to remain flexible until the day you die. And the danger of always working with the same recording, fold back, orchestra recording, piano recording, is you get stuck, your voice, your mind, in one tempo and one interpretation. As we all know, if you are alive, we do feel slightly different every day, which means the tempo in which we make the music, the interpretation, will be and should be completely new every day. That's why I beg you to use any methods that will help you maintain direct communication in this time of social distancing, to practice your communication with an audience, with an actual audience, not just an audience that you hope will click on your feed and you don't care what they're doing. So that's why, please give me some feedback on this. And I'm so sorry about my internet. Want to say goodbye. Hoi,